This is a continuation of the first series I posted on YouTube. Please, if you've not watched the first series on functions, try to click on it, subscribe to my channel so that you will get new updates. Thank you. Now, to get this problem solved, the question is the function f is defined on the set of real numbers by f of x equal to 4x plus 5. F of x equal to 4x plus 5. We are asked to find f inverse of x and b f inverse of half. Now, to solve this problem, we have f of x is equal to 4x plus 5. Now, what we are going to do will be to replace f of x with y. Replace f of x with y. So we have y is equal to 4x plus 5. So this is the first step. Replace f of x with y. The second step we are going to do, will be to interchange y for x and x for y. We are going to interchange y for x and x for y. So anywhere we see y, we are going to put x. Wherever we see x, we are going to put y. So we are having x is equal to 4y plus 5. Now, the third step will be to make 4y to stand alone. I want to make y the subject of formula. But before I can make y the subject of formula, I must move plus 5 to the other side. So it becomes x minus 5. If plus 5 is going to the other side, the sign will change. So it becomes x minus 5 equal to 4y. Now I want to make y to stand alone. What do? I divide both sides by the coefficient of y, which is 4. Divide the left-hand side by 4. 4 will cancel out 4. So we are having y is equal to x minus 5 over 4. So that's the answer we have there, x minus 5 over 4. Now we are asked to find f inverse of x. So we are going to replace y with f inverse of x since we are asked to find f inverse of x. So f inverse of x is this function we've gotten. That's x minus 5 over 4. Now this is the answer for question A. Now question B is saying we should find f inverse of half. We should find f inverse of half. How do we get f inverse of half? Very simple. Now we have gotten this function. So we are going to replace x with half. So in this function, we are going to replace x with half. So we have x minus 5 over 4. So if I replace x with half, it becomes half minus 5 over 4. So half minus 5 is equal to what? It's equal to minus 4 and a half over 4. Minus 4 and a half over 4. So minus 4 and a half over 4 is the same thing as 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. That's minus 9 over 2. Minus 9 over 2. Then divided by 4. divided by 4. So solving this now, I can say this is equal to minus 9 over 2 times, if I am changing this to multiplication, 1 comes up, 4 comes down, so it becomes times 1 over 4, isn't it? So minus 9 times 1 is minus 9, 2 times 4 is 8. So I'm having minus 9 over 8. So F inverse of half is equal to minus 9 over 8. Or I can change it to be equal to one whole number minus one whole number, 1 over 8. We are asked to determine the inverse function of g of x equal to x minus 1 raised to the power of 1 over 3. Now all we are asked to find is g inverse of x. How do we get g inverse of x? Now from the function g of x is equal to x minus 1 raised to the power of 1 over 3. I am going to substitute this with y. Y is equal to x minus 1 raised to the power of 1 over 3. The next step is to replace x with y and y for x. Okay, I am going to replace them. Anywhere I see y, I put x. Anywhere I see x, I put y. Now we are having y being x. I have replaced y for x now. Is equal to, I am going to replace this for y minus 1 raised to the power of 1 over 3. Now, the next thing is to try to see how I can simplify this problem. In our law of indices, we were told that a raised to the power of half is equal to square root of a all raised to the power of 1. A raised to the power of 1 over 3 is equal to cube root of a all raised to the power of 1. So if I apply this and bring this method here, so this now becomes the cube root of y minus 1, cube root of y minus 1 raised to the power of 1 is still the same thing as cube root of y minus 1. So I can decide to remove this, is equal to x. This and this, they are the same. So how do I simplify this? I want to remove this cube root from here. So what do? I cube both sides. I cube both sides. So this cube will cancel this cube root, leaving us with y minus 1. Okay? Y minus 1 is equal to x cubed. Now from here, simplifying this problem, it becomes x cubed plus 1 equal to y. What I did was to bring minus 1 to the other side. And if minus 1 is coming over to the other side, the sign will change to become plus 1. So it becomes x cubed plus 1 equal to y. So this is the same thing as saying y is equal to s cubed plus 1. But the question says we should find g inverse of x. So anywhere we see y, we substitute y with g inverse of x, which is equal to x cubed plus 1.